Hello, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, vampires and werewolves, Koreaboos and otakus. Welcome back to another episode of 1000 Gurus with me, your host, J.R. Yona Cruz. Today's guest is RJ Manalo. RJ is a musician, producer, freelance sound editor, and recently a dance videographer. He's the director of Project AKOOL, a project created but not limited to K-pop vocal and dance covers. He also works as a music minister for his local church, singing and playing piano for Sunday services, as well as the drummer for a 70s, 80s cover band in Rancho Cucamonga. He, along with his rapper duo Ed, won first place in KCON's Coverstar K vocal competition in 2019. In his free time, he plays games such as Apex Legends or League of Legends with his friends and has a hobby of prop making and carpentry. He kind of dances also. So this was another fun episode with a fellow dancer, creative, and Filipino. RJ and I have known each other through the K-pop community, but as we get into this episode, he's deep into the creative world, making music, producing covers with his project group AKOOL, and we talk about his experience growing up Filipino-American, his journey to becoming an audio engineer and music producer, and a bit about K-pop and video games, like one of our shared favorite games of all time, Kingdom Hearts. Talking with RJ is always enjoyable because he's such a personable guy and easy to talk to, and I respect how, like many of my guests, he's figured out what he loves and pursues it wholeheartedly. And my hope is that you, the audience, can get inspired to pursue the things that you enjoy and learn from people like him. So without further ado, hope you enjoy this episode with RJ Manalo. Hello everyone and welcome back to 1000 Gurus. Please welcome my guest, RJ. RJ. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
I was actually really surprised that you invited me because I was like, oh, wow.
But you're a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And I respect you, and
Yeah,
I think you have good insights, and we're like similar age
I
range.
hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming from Rancho. I know it's pretty far out, right?
Oh, yeah. It's always a journey coming out to Orange County or like Los Angeles, just trying to make my way over. But, I appreciate the time I take to just come here.
Yeah,
Thankfully,
no,
I got here.
Same, yeah. I was gonna say, because I didn't know until recently, I didn't know that Rancho Cucamonga is like, there's Filipinos there.
Oh, yeah.
And after meeting you and then Mika from Shiro, and then Blessy was like, yeah, Rancho Cucamonga. And then I'm finding out that there's restaurants there. I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely a Filipino place.
Yeah.
I have this, I think I told you, but I have this stand-up comedy joke where it's, how do you find Filipinos in your area? You just open up Google Maps, type in Jollibee, and a 5-mile radius is where all the Filipinos are.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and there is a Jollibee there, right?
There's a Jollibee,
yeah, so
and it's right next to Seafood City.
There you go.
Dude,
that's how
like
you know where the Filipinos are. It's a real thing. But I didn't realize so recently, and I'm like, okay, it makes sense. RJ lives there, Mickey lives there. I'm sure other people live there.
The prerequisites of being a Filipino.
And some of the other like candy people live out in that area too. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. All right, so let's get into how I know you. I think we first met when you filmed Choreos' BTS Dynamite cover, right?
Yes.
And I was like, oh, because usually we internally film, like we have filmers internally for our choreos, but I think this one, it was like during the pandemic, and so there wasn't a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Like there. So I think someone reached out to you and was like, oh, can you film our cover? And so you were one of the first people who were like an outside filmer for choreos. So that was rare, but then you're super chill. And then since then, I started dancing with you through Untitled. Also, like people like Travis, who was on the show as well, like dance with him. And so we did a handful of 17 covers together, like Rock With You, Super, Crush, right? And then we also danced together for K Factor in 2022. And let's see. Yeah, I've also been to your place a couple times because you do a lot of your own recording audio stuff, like covers with various other dancers as well. You've done some stuff with Blessy as well. And so that's why, she knows this, but like I'll drive her there. She's like, hey, are you free this next weekend to go to RJ's place? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I'm her chauffeur. And then she'll sing and then I'll just be chilling there. But I think that's pretty much like our relationship in a nutshell. Any clarifications or what are you up to?
I totally forgot that was when we met, the Dynamite cover. I just remember, I think it was like Bao or something who hit me up, and I was surprised too. I was like, wait, I get to film a Choreos cover?
I know.
At the time, they were kind of like
exclusive.
Exclusive, kind of a big deal in the cover community, especially in Southern California. So that was a really cool, I'm thankful for that opportunity because we met each other, and obviously I met like some of the other people in the Choreos too. So that was pretty cool. Apart from that, I don't think there's really any other clarifications, really, especially with how we met, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you fit the bill for one of my guests because you are Filipino.
We both have two-letter names.
Two-letter names, yeah. I think my audience knows that like 95% of my guests are dancers, and or they fall into the category of Filipino, female content creator or some sort of like gay dude. So,
those are very like
no,
specific.
exactly.
Like,
But I look back at the roster, I'm like, yeah, that's 85% of my guests are those.
The only way you'll be invited to 1,000.
Yeah, if you fit in all three categories and you're a dancer, you're probably going to be on the show.
That's amazing.
Yeah. All right. So if nothing else, then we can go into the first topic. So as with all of my guests, we go into origin story just to humanize you a little bit. Where did you grow up and what were your main influences during your childhood?
So I was actually born on the East Coast. I was born in New Jersey.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, I lived there since I was like 5, and then pretty much like an East Coast baby. Then I moved to Southern California when I was like 5 or 6, and I've been living in the Rancho Inland Empire area ever since. I guess kind of like my influences, like I was pretty much like influenced by like family most of the time. Did a lot of like weekend parties with Filipinos are always like that. Did a lot of weekend parties at my uncle's house. Just hung out like in Rancho all the time, and basically, especially like career wise, I think my biggest influence is probably like my dad, because he's like most of his family is like musicians. Like they didn't pursue it like as a career; they mostly just do it as a hobby. And I think I just decided to do that rather than everybody else goes, oh, that's not a safe type of career to do. I'm just like, I'm going to prove you wrong, right? Because when you're Filipino and you do anything like outside of like nursing or whatever, everyone's like, what do you want to do with your life, right? Yeah. I don't think so. Yeah.
Was it the same for you with the whole Filipino pressure of going into nursing or whatever?
Yeah, because...
Wait, you have siblings? I forgot.
I do have siblings,
right?
Yeah, I have one older sister and then one older brother. So I'm the youngest, yeah. And like going back to the whole like pressure of like nursing, yeah, like a lot of my cousins were nurses, right? Even now, like my mom, I'm already like pretty well into like my career as like an audio editor and like a sound engineer. And my mom's like, are you sure you don't want to do nursing?
It's not too late.
It's not too late. I was like, Mom, I'm already here. Yeah. I already have pretty decent connections right now. I think I'm pretty much figuring it out right now. Yeah. But that's pretty much how that works.
Yeah. What does your sister and brother do, if you don't mind me asking?
So my sister is a boxing trainer in Santa Fe Springs. She owns her own
boxing trainer.
Yeah, she owns her own boxing gym in Santa Fe Springs. Do you know where Snow Globe is at? The new one?
I have an idea.
Yeah. Her boxing gym is like right next to that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really funny. Yeah, so she does that, and it's cool because she's very well known in the community, in the boxing community, because she's female and she's also Asian. So it's like really cool PR. People try to like talk to her all the time. It's like, oh my God, you're like the coolest Filipino girl I ever met. There are moments she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna meet Manny Pacquiao like today. I was like, really?
Just Manny Pacquiao.
Just casually mention it. I'm just like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, it was really cool. And then my brother is a game art designer. Yeah, but he also works as a like warehouse stuff also. So he does like some of the game art stuff on the side, but he does like warehouse tech, I think. Yeah. It's
interesting. So you and your siblings are very like quote unquote atypical for them.
Yeah, like comparatively to a lot of our cousins and stuff, we're like black sheep of our cousins. And I always find it funny whenever we're like hanging out at like parties and stuff. My cousins talk about like how hard of a day they had at like the hospital. And they're like, hey, and they're like, oh, Kuya RJ, what did you do at this week? And I was like, oh, I filmed a music video, right? Oh, I made a song with like my friend. It's really funny. This sort of juxtaposition between me and like my cousins. Yeah.
Did you, tangent, did you ever get into boxing or try it out? Or
no, I think that was something that like, that was really just my sister. I mean, I did like a Pacquiao part.
Right. No, that's what I was saying. Like, it's genetics, apparently.
Yeah.
I did boxing for a little bit.
Maybe just for my sister. Maybe my brother also did. Maybe I don't know if it like fits. Like my brother did karate when he was younger. I think the most that I've done with, I guess, just like body movement, I guess, is just dancing, if anything. Yeah. I don't think I've ever done like fighting or whatever. Yeah. It's very shit.
Like you're a dancer and a singer, musician, so you have a lot of the Filipino checkboxes already. Yeah. You're obviously just not a nurse, but that's totally fine.
I think about that stuff like infinity stones. It's like to be Filipino.
Yeah.
It's I have only 4 of like the 5. Like, oh, I guess I'm never gonna achieve full powers.
Right.
I'm not a nurse. Yeah.
What else is there? Being an astronaut, nurse.
Yeah, nurse. I guess sing. Or no, yeah, nurse, singing, dancing. Maybe I guess being good at cooking. Maybe.
Yeah. Or like working like at the post office. Like,
I think so.
That's a Filipino thing.
Yeah, it's a very Filipino thing.
Or working at Jollibee.
Or
at least having a relative that works there.
Something like that, yeah.
So I know one of the topics we wanted to get to was your experience growing up Filipino-American in SoCal. I'm from the Bay, and so I'm a quote-unquote transplant since college. But for my own curiosity, what was it like growing up Filipino-American in SoCal, and what do you think are some of the nuances that people might not know about?
I think it really just stems down to like family. I don't think there really is an inherent difference between when you're from the Bay or from when you're down here. I think it really all just stems from knowing whether or not your family is willing to give you the culture back to you. And I think my family in particular, when you're growing up as like a Filipino-American, it's a little bit more of an identity crisis. It's, oh, you hear your aunts and uncles like speak like Tagalog like all the time, like around you, and you want to know what they say. It's unfortunate for me that I've never learned how to speak Tagalog because my parents never taught it to me because they just never thought it was like a good idea to teach me. There's no point, right? It's like, you're in America, just speak English and you'll succeed. And then years later, like now my mom's like, man, I should have taught you Tagalog. Should have taught you Filipino. I was like, I don't think that's my fault, but they thought of what was best for me and being an American. But it was funny because I think I developed more of a sense of learning the culture on my own as I got older, especially when I met up with a lot of like different friends from college who were in like Filipino clubs and like doing a lot of performances and stuff. So I think that might be the difference between like certain people who want to experience being Filipino. And I don't think there is a difference between NorCal versus like SoCal, like Filipino-American culture, really. It's really just what you make of it. Actually.
Right. I know there's a lot of common denominators, which is what we find out in this age of social media.
Yeah.
But where's your family or parents from in Philippines?
So my mom...
Not that I would know, really, but...
So my dad is from Batangas.
Oh, right.
And then my mom is from Manila, but she's from Pampangan. So she speaks Sangan.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so they're very like even that is Kapampangan is like a whole other language too. And it's just like, even my dad speaks like Batangueño, right? Which is like more like deep Tagalog. Tagalog right now, it's mostly like Spanish along with Tagalog. But my dad speaks like pure Tagalog also. So you have like words that mean certain stuff that would otherwise mean differently in Spanish. But yeah, but basically, that's pretty much where they're from, yeah.
Does your dad have coffee on rice? Is that the thing in your family?
I've never asked him, actually.
Really?
I mean, he probably does. I just had never seen him do it, maybe. Yeah.
That was a big thing when Blessy and I were on TikTok a lot. And then I realized that her family obviously does that a lot. I didn't even know if my family did that. But then my mom was like, oh, yeah, some people do, but not all. I never grew up seeing
On rice?
coffee on rice. Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Really?
Actually, yeah.
I feel like have we not talked about
I
this
don't know.
before?
I mean, I've seen a lot of Filipino like recipes and
Okay,
like
so just white rice on a plate, and then like black coffee, hot, and you just pour it on and you eat it.
What? Really?
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna ask my dad about it.
Look at our comment section in our TikToks. It's like there's a war. It's like people are like, ew, that's gross. And people are like, oh, I do that. My family does.
Okay,
that.
no. Like one thing I could tell you is that do you know champorado? Yeah. Have you had like dilis, like fish with champorado before? Yeah, it's like that. It's like a sweet, savory kind of thing. That's the craziest thing I've heard from. I've tried it. I was like, it's pretty good. I've never heard of coffee on rice or whatever.
Yeah, I always give Blessy a hard time about that because I'm like, ew, that's gross. It's not really gross, but she gets so offended that I just keep going anyways.
Filipino taste buds are just like titanium, dude. I don't know what it is, man. Yeah.
And even then, it's not even just a Filipino thing. Apparently, some Asian
really
cultures also do coffee on rice, but that's just what we found out.
Oh.
Okay, so I guess maybe you touched upon this, but challenges, advantages that you feel like being Filipino-American lent to your journey or your experience?
I think me being Filipino, it did introduce me to singing. Like I joined the Filipino choir because of my parents, obviously, at my church. And then that kind of moved into me becoming like a musician at my church. So then I think that's one of the advantages. You just learn how to like operate with people socially and like in a group setting and like some sort of, because I think being Filipino is like mostly about community. They're very welcoming and inviting. So when you're around those types of people a lot, you tend to try to give off that same energy to a lot of people who probably aren't Filipino, or maybe they are Filipino. But otherwise, I don't think there was any real challenges apart from the comparative nature of you being like, oh, why aren't you this? Why aren't you
a NASA astronaut?
Yeah, why aren't you a nurse? Yeah, why aren't you a nurse in space? That's pretty much. Yeah, I don't think there's anything more to that actually.
So, like last weekend or the weekend before, I went to the East Coast to visit my mom's family, and it was like one of the first times that all of my aunts and uncles on my mom's side and some of my grandparents were there.
Yeah,
and it brought me back because I realized that my whole family, it seems like they're all extroverts and they're all loud.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm just like, quiet in the corner, which I've always been, but it just was a not a culture shock, but it was kind of like a punch in the face. Wow, actually, my family is like this.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like the odd one out because I'll just
Yeah.
listen and then I'll throw in a joke and then people will laugh and then I
Yeah.
just go back to listening.
Yeah.
Because when there's too many extroverts, I just start to become more introverted. But when there's too many introverts, I'll become extroverted.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's funny you mentioned the community thing too, because my family is also like that. Like they're also like mixed Filipino-American. My grandma's like super Filipino, but yeah, it's very communal. And even though it's like there's differences, but it's still very family.
Yeah.
Same with my dad's side too.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last question on this, you already went into career aspirations and trajectory, but I know you just mentioned how you got into singing, but how did you get into dance?
I got into dance.
Your genetics.
Maybe. When I got into dance because when I moved back to public high school in, I think, like my junior year of high school, I hung out with a lot of Asian people, right? It's high school section off is all the Mexican kids are like
People
one
self-segregate.
place. Yeah,
you know?
people self-segregate because they just want to feel comfortable. So it's like all the Asians are in one place. So I hung out with all the Asian people and they were like talking about this b-boy club that was like after school. And I was like, dang, that sounds cool. I want to go. And I went and I was like, dang, I want to learn how to six step. I want to learn how to baby freeze. And it wasn't, honestly, a lot of people go into it as like a phase, but I really looked into it. I was like, maybe this could be a cool recreational thing because I don't really do anything active besides maybe just play basketball or something. So I decided to just go for it. And then from there, it went from, like learning how to b-boy to, can you perform with us on stage at this like event? I'm like, sure. And then that's when I got into more hip hop choreo stuff. And then I think after that, I went more into K-pop stuff because it's blowing up. I knew about K-pop from like a while, but I never bothered to do like.
This was during high school, college?
Yeah, I think in high school, that's when I started how to dance.
Like dancing, yeah.
Yeah, but then when I started doing more performance stuff was like after high school,
I
basically.
see.
Yeah. And that's pretty much like how I started dancing. Basically, I just wanted to be cool b-boy Filipino kid in high school, basically. Yeah.
So how about K-pop, since you just mentioned that?
I got into dancing for K-pop because my friend from CSUF or Cal State Fullerton, she was saying like, we need one more person for our dance competition at Anime Expo. And I was like, yeah, sure, I can join. And then because that person who invited me, she was part of this cultural event, Filipino dance cultural event that we did. She was like, yeah, we need one more person. I know you like K-pop. Do you want to just do this? I'm like, sure, I guess. And I joined. And then that's when I met everybody else in the community, basically. And I met Ed, HD, Nico, basically like a lot of the other people who were like in that. And at the time, that was like the only way you can really meet like dancers and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much how I cemented myself in the K-pop community. Yeah.
What got you into K-pop first off? Was there specific artists or how did you come across it?
I think like most people, it was like Taeyang, Big Bang, and like G.
So like 2008 to 2009?
Basically, yeah. Like I'm a pretty old fan. Like I remember when Star, right? Like My Boy, like when SNSD came out with G, I was like, man, who are these really pretty girls in colorful
colored jeans?
Yeah, all from plants. So like this song is so addicting. And then everybody wanted to be Taeyang. I remember in high school, everybody had the fedora like on the side of their head and everything. It was either you wanted to be Taeyang or you wanted to be Neo. It was like one of the two, right? Yeah, that's pretty much how I got into it. Yeah.
It's like fedora. Who do you like, Taeyang, Neo?
Yeah. He's like, I love GD or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I guess we're going into singing. Wanted to ask you about the story of how you got first place in a K-pop vocal cover competition.
Yeah, so me along with our friend Ed, right? Like I met Ed like a while back, and we did competitions together, like K Factor and what have you. And we saw that KCON was actually having a vocal cover competition. And normally, when you think of cover competitions in like at KCON or like any like K-pop sponsor like event, you would think they're mostly like dancing, right? That's the norm. When we found out that they were having a vocal cover one, I just messaged Ed. I was like, hey man, you want to do this thing? And he's like, sure, we'll do it. And I'm very thankful to Ed for being like always down to do stuff like that. So we do the thing. And then I think it was like based on like voting. So we kind of PR'd ourselves a lot. We're like, hey, vote for us, whatever. And then we made a music video for it. And just to show people, hey, we mean business. We're not just like singing in our room or whatever. I know no discredit to people who do that, but we wanted to show people that there's more to just, there's a little bit more effort being done by people who also like singing in K-pop. And then so we got up on stage and we just did our best. We killed it, had fun. See all of our friends like in the audience. I was like, man, I feel like a K-pop star, man. It was cool. The lights are shining in your face and like whatever. And there really wasn't a lot of, I don't think there really was like a lot of prep work to it because I've been singing with Ed for so long already. We know each other's like niches in terms of performing. So it's like, I think when you do something for a while, for so long with somebody else, you just bounce off of each other in a very organic way, and I think that's what put us over the edge to get first place. Yeah.
So it's like more natural. You're in the flow.
Yeah, and there is also a lot of prep work to be done, right? Because you do a performance, and then one like previous performance, something goes wrong, and then you think about, okay, how do we make this better for the next one? So you prep, and you're like, okay, maybe we need a countdown in the beginning so we don't mess up the timing, right? It's maybe we shouldn't run around so much; we'll get tired more easily. So really, things like that. I guess more so the previous performances that we've had, especially when doing like other competitions or like other events and stuff. I think that is more of what helped us get over the edge for Coverstar K at KCON. Yeah.
Okay, I have a few questions to follow up to that. What year was this?
So it's 2019.
2019. And then what songs did you guys sing?
So we only did Yeah by Winner. Yeah. And then I think around that time, I think Winner was there for at KCON. So I think it helped a little bit.
Yeah. It wasn't like you have to do one of these songs from one of the artists.
Yeah.
Whatever, but you guys did.
We did it anyway. Yeah. And I think Ed and I really work well when we do YG style songs. Crowd pleasers, like a lot of yelling, a lot of rapping. Yeah, something like that.
That makes sense. Okay, and then so if I'm getting this correct, was it like a 2-phase sort of competition?
Yeah. So
you submit a video and then live performance?
Yeah. So there was the voting phase, which was the first round, and then the second round was pretty much the finals. And I think only 5 people were chosen to perform. Yeah, to perform. And it was funny because I remember this might be a little bit of a tangent, but one of the people that was supposed to be in it, we made a group chat. It was like, oh wow, I can't wait to meet you guys so we can all hang out. And then like later on, they found out that one of the girls was like 17 years old. She wasn't like an adult, so she wasn't eligible. Eligible to perform. So it's like she made this group chat and sorely disappointed. I was like, what do we do? I felt so bad. But yeah, no, she's cool though. She forever hates Coverstar K brand because of that.
So close, almost got in.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So it was the same song you performed, so that you recorded.
Yeah. So the same song we made a music for, we performed it at the competition.
Do you remember who judged?
I don't. I remember.
Panel?
Yeah, it was like a panel. I think there was like a couple of KCON like representatives. There was this one like producer guy named like Kairos or something. He like gave us his card, and we were just like, oh yeah, here you go. And then I tried calling him, and he like never answered. I was like, okay, so that's like the reality of the situation, right? And so you can perform at KCON, you can do great, but sometimes you're probably not going to make it anyway. I mean, he did. I bet he did as like a courtesy, like just to give us something, right? I'm not bad mouthing him or anything, but that's just what it is, right? Yeah. I remember we did win 2 tickets to go to the actual concert. I wasn't planning on going to the concert. He gave us the tickets, and they were like, "Oh yeah, here you go." And then I remember going to the concert, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, here, I want you guys to go downstairs." And we were like, "Downstairs? What do you mean? Oh, we're gonna be in the pit? No way, dude!" Yeah, it was actually really cool.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a good perk. You won, right? Was that the only prize? It was just like tickets and stuff.
Yeah, just like tickets. I think shirt, like a couple shirts and stuff. Yeah, some swag, and then like I guess like a little placard saying, "Hey, you won Coverstar K." That's pretty much it.
That's dope. Yeah. Okay, so I guess a little bit of a pivot, but what draws you to your current career, passion, audio and sound?
I just like producing in general. I think even past audio, I just like making stuff. When I was younger, I think it was like in high school, that was kind of like when I discovered like audio editing and like just writing music and stuff. And at the time, it was on accident, actually. I was actually making videos. I was just like making fun little teleportation videos and really fun like VFX stuff. And then I noticed like on the bottom, there was like a audio track, and then you can record audio to it. So I was like, oh, maybe, let me check this out really quick. And then I just recorded my voice. I'm like, can I do it in another lane? So I started recording myself to myself. And then it turned into this sort of fascination of what can I add to this to make it like even more? And then that was actually around the time I started becoming like a musician, right? And I started learning like different instruments. So I had my drum set set up, put a microphone like next to my drum kit, played like something random, and put it next to my guitar amp. And I played something along with the drums, put bass to it, put singing. And then by the end of it, I was just like, man, did I just make a song? And one of those moments is it feels like an epiphany. I had an epiphany. I was like, man, this is the coolest thing ever. I want to do this for the rest of my life. And that's when I disappointed my mom. Right? I was like, you don't want to be a nurse or whatever? What do you mean you want to do audio? And I think before I was so used to like working on my own. Like more recently, I love working with people. I love working with any artist, any singer who has this drive to just make something. And I feel like having like-minded people just who love to sing and who love to create is just what draws me even more to just making music and just like editing sound, and even not even just like editing music, but even like doing it for like video, right? Doing it for films and stuff. And I think that's pretty much where I stand on that. Right? Yeah.
So I don't really have any insight into the industry of sound and audio engineering and things like that, but I want to ask, in your experience, what is that trajectory like? What are some challenges? What are some things that people should know about getting into it? And then maybe what are the potential career avenues? How do you approach a career in audio? And like, what are the different avenues you can take? What are some challenges, etc.?
For what I know is that a lot of the people who get into audio and who get into like just anything with sound editing, I think a lot of the people that I've met have all been musicians, right? And I think most of the people that kind of fall into like editing and stuff were people who not necessarily failed at being a musician, but more so like they found out that that wasn't feasible as like a career.
I see.
So they just moved into the next best thing where they can still do the things that they love, but in a more safer expectation of a career. One of the things I will say is if you do want to be like an audio editor, I guess be open to a lot of criticism and a lot of editing, because you're gonna meet like a lot of people who are basically like, oh, like I hate how this sounds. Can we redo it? And you have to just be open to that. And I think also just having good social skills, because you're gonna talk to a lot of people, right? Even if you think, oh yeah, I want to be an engineer, I just want to be in the studio, I just want to edit. No, you're gonna be talking to a lot of people, no matter what you think.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what are some common or types of careers or types of jobs that people aspire to have in this industry? And I guess, how do you get there?
So one of them is like being a sound editor for post-production. That's like kind of what I'm doing right now. You can be a bedroom producer. You can have your setup like in your room, like on a laptop or whatever. You can make music that way. You can probably show it to the world on YouTube or whatever. It's not like necessarily a way to start that career, but it is a way to show yourself and promote yourself. Other things that you can do, there's a live sound also, where you can do sound for venues. You can be a audio tech for a podcast, just like this guy, right? Right? Sorry. Things like that. Other things that you can do, I think it's pretty much like the bulk of it, because there's like a lot of things like in between that. They're pretty much like umbrella stuff. Say live sound, you can be the guy at the mixing board, or you can be a roadie. Like you could set up cables, you can tear down equipment. You can also be a coordinator for the event. I think it's more like concert stuff, but that also works in the same realm. For producing music, you can be the producer, you can be the songwriter, you can be the audio engineer, you could be the engineering tech. There's a lot of things that you can go into, and it's actually very very widespread as like a career path, really. Because I think most of the time when people there are specifics, right? When you like graduate from a certain field, like you have the title, oh yeah, music industry professional, whatever. But the things that they teach you in school for those things at like in like college, you can apply those to like a plethora of things. And I think that's great. I think that's why it is hard to get into, but I will say that there is still like a large margin of error that if you do mess up at your job, at whatever you're doing, they're going to cut you. So you have to be really good regardless. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of different avenues, commercial wise, or even technically in the field, and like you said, setting up stuff. So there's a lot of stuff out there. I guess my question is, any advice for people who maybe want to get into audio?
Oh,
yeah. How would you advise them to get started?
I would say if you have any practice, like really just practice on your own. If you have like an audio production, like any like audio editor, just like practice working with like clips or like tracks or whatever, and just see how certain sounds react to each other, because you're going to be doing a lot of that later on. Familiarize yourself with what you're working with, and that's common amongst like a lot of musicians, right? You hone your craft, you look into it, and you try to be the best at at a certain program as much as you can, and that by the time you work on like actual like industry level stuff, it's going to be a cakewalk. Yeah, that's how I thought about it too. Like before I worked with a lot of like industry like stuff like Pro Tools, like Final Cut and all that stuff, I was already cutting in like a very bare bones program, and that practice that I've had for a long time helped me get over the edge of being where I am now. Yeah.
All right, last question on this is, if you could go back to just graduating high school for your career trajectory? Is there anything you would redo or do differently?
I would take like graduating after high school.
Like you just graduated high school, you knew that you want to pursue this career.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you would redo or do differently?
I would take a lot more connections more seriously because I think after high school, I was still in this funk of, am I good enough to do this? Am I good enough to edit for anybody? And I had a lot of like self-doubt after high school because I really like when I was doing it after high school, I was really much more doing it as like a hobby and I did things on like my own time and whatever. But there was a lot of career opportunities that I was presented with that I did not take seriously because I didn't think I was good enough for them. And I think if I said yes to a lot of those opportunities, I think I'd be in a much better place than I am right now in terms of my own career as like an like audio editor and like whatever. Yeah.
Just taking more opportunities.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, let's shift now. So I want to ask you about AKOOL. So how did you start it? What's the story behind it? And what is the name? What is AKOOL?
What is AKOOL? Okay, so AKOOL was basically like most K-pop like cover teams. Just a bunch of friends who wanted to make like a thing, right? AKOOL was actually started at UCR. It was like a bunch of my friends at UCR. We were at this K-pop club, and the K-pop club had like other groups of friends who made fun little teams and stuff. Originally, we weren't called AKOOL. We were actually called Not Seven, like a long time ago. And because we were doing we were a bunch of 7 dudes just doing a Got7 song. That's why it's cheesy, right? So we did that, and then fast forward later. We recorded the song. We recorded a song by Got7. We did Got7 Fly, and we did the dance to it. So I started off this whole thing of doing singing and dancing for K-pop covers. We didn't really take it seriously. Fast forward a little bit, my other friend who was also part of the club, he wanted to participate in that, but I didn't want to ruin the Not Seven like name. So I was like, let's rebrand into like AKOOL, right? And AKOOL, the name is actually based off of the Blockberry creative group Luna, which is Loona. And it's basically the way how it's a pretty long explanation. I think I'll tell you after the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's pretty much referenced off of that. And I basically started that again. I started that in like 2016. So basically it was like a thing where I wanted people to come together to do collaborative singing projects because there's not a lot of teams like that, save for who's that? Like Aurora, for example. There's not a lot of teams that do that. And I wanted to do more things like that with my friends who also knew how to sing and stuff. And it was also a way, like thinking about it now after restarting it, because from the time when I started AKOOL, I joined Untitled and I had to put AKOOL on a bit of a break. And then when I left Untitled, I decided, no, let me revive AKOOL to do more stuff. And then so when AKOOL kind of came up, or when I brought AKOOL back up again, I thought of it as a really cool opportunity for me to hone my craft as like a producer and audio engineer, and also to give opportunity to people who don't have the setup to record. Take, for example, like Blessy, right? She comes over, you come over too, and like other people that I invite to do this project. I want people to be able to have fun doing a cover without it being like weird or like, oh, we have to do this, right? Or trying to be too try hard. And like what I was saying earlier, it's like working with people is a lot more easier for me because it allows me to hone my skills as like an audio engineer. I think that right now that's like like where AKOOL is going. Yeah.
I like that. It's kind of like a triple win because you get to hone your craft, you get to build this community, socialize and whatnot, but also give them a space to explore this avenue that they probably don't have.
Yeah, and there's a funny joke. I think I told you. It's like whenever people come over to record, they're like, "Oh, how long does it take for us to record?" I was like, "Oh, maybe like 2 hours." But it'd be 30 minutes of recording and then an hour 30 of just talking.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's exactly
establishing like rapport. Yeah.
No, that's always the fun part where it's like the couple of times we came over and maybe 15, 20 minutes. And Blessy is like pretty fast, right?
Yeah.
And so then it's just 30 minutes of just talking.
Yeah.
10 more minutes of recording, which is fun.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So just for due diligence, TLDR, do you have the story of what does AKOOL mean?
So AKOOL, so what I said earlier, it's based off of the Blockberry creative group Luna, and Luna means Italia Sogno, which means girl of the month. I think I'm like butchering that Hangul like super hard right now. Yeah. Basically how it works is with Luna's name, it's the first letter of every syllable of that phrase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you look at how like
off of that sort of
So the way how we did it for AKOOL, it would be Ichu Ie Sonyon, which is boy of the week. So it was like, because we always, when we were doing it, we released like teasers every week, right? So it was, oh, boy of the week, right? And we were all guys, right? And then so that's how it came out. And then it turned into, oh, every time we have, if it's an all girl thing, it would be girl of the week, right? And then because boy and girl have the same first syllable for the name for Sonyo versus Sonyeon, just worked out in that way to be able to have it, especially be like a co-ed group. But that's pretty much like the idea of it. Yeah.
Okay, but wait, hold on. But AKOOL, AKOOL?
Yeah, so I don't know if I'm able to write it. I could show you.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I'm like trying to do in my head. I know I can read Hangul, but I'm like, where's
like you know the ja, like this one?
Yeah.
If you turn it, that makes it a K.
Oh, so like actually what it looks like?
What it looks like. So like the siet, the
Yeah,
S.
yeah.
So that's the A.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
and then
okay,
the,
I gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll show you later. You'll get it.
Okay, I get what you're saying now. So for those of you who don't read Korean or whatever, so like the symbols, the letters,
the characters,
and you're saying you just changed, like you physically
changed the
orientation, and then that made AKOOL.
Yeah, because that's also what they did for Luna. Also,
I see.
Yes.
Now it clicks. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for that. Now, because I'm sure the audience will be like, "Wait, did he just pass over that? Like,
what does that mean? What does that mean?"
Okay, cool. So let's go into. We talked about K-pop. I want to ask you. Kingdom Hearts is a topic, but what games are you into and why? Just the softball.
I really like playing a lot of like team-based games. So I like playing like League of Legends. I love playing Apex Legends. I also like playing Genshin Impact. You know, like a lot of like fantasy style like stuff. Apex Legends like a shooter. Valorant, I guess I stopped playing it, but there's also like another one. I think I really like games that are just have great like music. Really?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So I played a lot of Rock Band and like Guitar Hero back in the day. So I was stuck on that when I was.
That checks out. I can see that.
I was like playing. I actually, it was funny because that was actually like Rock Band was actually one of the reasons why I got into drumming, because I was like, wow, I can actually move my hands.
So this predated when you actually started learning instruments.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I should have got into that a little bit.
So maybe Rock Band was a main influence for you.
I guess so. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Now that I think about it, yeah. Now that we mention it. Yeah, Rock Band I think was like one of those games that was like I was trying to be like on the leaderboard like every time, like, oh, I got to get perfect score. Yeah. I was a sweat at Rock Band. Yeah. No, yeah, it was like Rock Band, Guitar Hero. I love playing all those games. I mentioned like Kingdom Hearts a little bit. I guess we'll like dive into that later. But yeah, basically like a lot of games that like involve like a lot of music. I love games like that.
Yeah. Okay, so then now Kingdom Hearts. Why Kingdom Hearts? What's so special about that game?
Yeah, Yuli. So Kingdom Hearts for me is like the storytelling is great, the gameplay is great. It's something about the game, and especially the music, right? I think Kingdom Hearts was also one of those really big influences for me, like just writing music. Because when I was learning piano when I was like younger, I was like, man, I don't want to be playing like all this classical stuff. It's boring, right? And then when I heard a lot of Kingdom Hearts music, I was like, I want to learn how to play that. It's kind of like how people learn how to play like River Flows in You or like Wedding Dress, right? Yeah. It's kind of the same thing for me. Like I wanted to just learn how to play these songs, and I also wanted to write music like that. I think Yoko Shimomura, the composer of Kingdom Hearts, I think was and probably is one of my biggest influences, and I never get bored playing the game. I think like I can play the game like 10 times over. I can never get bored of it because the music really just draws you in. And I think even like a lot of the sound design, like Keyblade, like sound effects, and like a lot of the like sound effects from other weapons and stuff, it's almost like a masterclass. It feels really good to like play, and I don't like. I can probably go on and on about it, but I don't want to like.
Yeah, we like to hear about it. I'm also love Kingdom Hearts. That was like a big staple for me in high school.
Yeah,
one of the main franchises that I played a lot, and I do a lot of solo like one-player games. But another thing too is a lot of our friends and people who are really into gaming like Final Fantasy, and so Kingdom Hearts is like, if you don't know what Kingdom Hearts is, it's like a fusion of that Final Fantasy genre vibe with Disney.
Yeah.
And so it combined these two crazy things, and then it worked really well. And now it's this huge thing, cultural shift in the video game world.
Yeah.
And I think to the point, this could also be a main influence because it seemed like it really like made an impact on you growing up.
Yeah. I think it's funny because I remember we stumbled upon it on accident. My older brother just brought the game home, the first one. And he was like, oh, this looks cool, right? We just bought it. And he's, we see Donald Duck and like Goofy and Mickey randomly. What is this like Disney game? And it's like anime looking, and we play it, and it's just like, it's the coolest thing ever. Yeah. And I think the overarching message of friendship being like there for your like everybody and being the greater good and like a lot of stuff. I think that's just really cool. Very anime for sure, but it just feels good, especially when put into a Disney context. And especially because you you get all these like IPs of Little Mermaid, like Lion King being put into this new interpretation of it. And you're like, wow. And especially in an anime sense, right? Wow, this is really cool. Like because you can watch the classics, right? And they're good because they're the classics, but to see them reimagined in this context.
And explore deeply in different contexts.
Yeah. But basically,
I like that a lot too, because Kingdom Hearts is what brought me more into Disney, meaning like learning about the worlds and the backstories behind it, because they're really faithful to the spirit of all the worlds that they bring you in, and they touch almost everything in Disney classics, right? Yeah. But they also bring in the world of Final Fantasy, all those characters, and that's how I also got more into the lore of Final Fantasy. Yeah. But they just did it so well in the storytelling, the gameplay, and then just like the saga that has been playing out over time. Mm-hmm. There's still some games that I have not played through, and so I'm just like, it's on my list to just watch the playthroughs or watch like the cutscenes just to get it.
I will tell you, like certain games you don't have to play,
right? No,
right? Like I would encourage you to watch the playthroughs, but you don't have to play them if you really don't want to. Because I've tried, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna watch a YouTube.
That's why there were some of those games where it's like, I know this is gonna be tedious. There's a lot of grinding, or like it's some of the handheld games. It's like I don't really have the capacity or the platform to do this. But if I just watch the playthrough, I can get the value of it.
The value of it,
and like the experience. But it is such a deep, immersive world. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Anything else on Kingdom Hearts or video games?
Not really. No, like
just a huge recommendation.
Yeah,
go play Kingdom Hearts.
Play Kingdom Hearts if you like Disney. Yourself. Like I see all you Disney adults. If you like anime and you like Disney, Kingdom Hearts is for you.
Anime, Disney, video games. It's like the best like intersection of all of it.
Yeah.
One of my dream cosplays since I was younger,
I think I know where this is coming from.
Was like an Organization 13 outfit. So I eventually got it. So now that's one of my staples.
Wait, you actually had 13 other people that you...
No. Okay, so not with other people, but just the outfit itself.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like the hooded black, like leather robe sort of thing. I don't have keyblades, but just having the cosplay was like, I'm like, dude, let me just put me in as Organization 13. It's
just so walk around.
Exactly.
I was thinking you're going to be like, oh, let's just grab like 14 or like 13 of my other friends and just show up with black coats and just randomly walk.
That would be fun if if I found like X many other nerds to do it, and then all the different weapons that they have too.
Oh yeah.
But even then,
you could just do the black coats.
No, you could just do the black coats. But I think it'd be just another level. I'm sure people have done it.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But what is it? What are the two keyblades? Just to nerd out a bit.
Keeper
and Oblivion. Yes, those are the ones. I'm like, the silver white one with the black one. Oh, so good. Yeah, that was like my dream cosplay. So it'll happen one day.
One day.
Okay. Anything else on topic of games, Kingdom Hearts, or K-pop before I move on?
Not really. No, I don't think we have. It was a nice little thing. Yeah.
Just a little nostalgia. I've not played Kingdom Hearts in a while.
Wait, what's your favorite? Have you played all three of them? Like the
so I didn't play the third one. I played the first two, and then the third one came out 10 something years ago, something like that.
No, I think it was like 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Okay, whatever. I just never got to it because I've been on a video game hiatus since then.
Oh, okay.
But it's obviously top of my list. Like when I get back into video games, like I do like a 6-month stint back into it just to get back onto the drug. Mm-hmm. And like I did some first person shooters like the Call of Duties and the Assassin's Creed and God of War. And I'm supposed to get back into catch up on GTA, but also Kingdom Hearts is on there, and also Final Fantasy, whatever the most recent ones are. But those, for anyone knows, those are like a grind. So I'm just like, let me just get the first person shooters out of the way. Those are faster. Usually just get the story.
Yeah.
All right. So rapid fire. You ready?
Sure.
Cool. First one, Billboard question. If you could put up a sign for millions of people to see, metaphorically, non-commercial, what would it say?
If you have a voice, use it. And I mean that in the way of if you want to perform, if you want to sing, go out and sing. If you have this song that you want to put out that song. Or if there's an issue and it's bothering you, speak up. Things like that are like pretty important part of my life. Just talking about, I don't like it when things are just like basically. Yeah.
I like it. What is one of the hardest challenges you faced in your life, and what did you learn from it?
I think having that, I had a bit of a depressive episode like after high school, like when I started college and until now, because I had a lot of like self-doubt in like my skill as like a audio engineer, and just like working on music in general, because I was like, you see all these people being like amazing. And I think overcoming that was probably the biggest hurdle of my life, and just understanding that maybe I am good at what I do. And yeah, I think that was probably the biggest challenge for sure.
What was like the takeaway, or what did you learn from that? Because so you said you had this sort of doubt, and then you overcame it. Did something help, a strategy, mindset, or something that someone told you that helped?
Yeah, so there was a one of my classes. I had a acoustics class, which was like studying like sound in like a space. I did a final project, and he emailed me. My professor emailed me. He was like, "Hey RJ, can you call me back at this number? We got to talk about your final project." And I was like, "Oh my god, I like messed it up." I was like, "I'm gonna fail the class, right?" And that was already when my self doubt was like at its highest, right? And so he called me, and I called him, and I was like, "Professor, like, you want to talk to me about my final project?" And he was like, "Yeah." Amazing job. And I was like, oh my God, like weight was lifted off my shoulders. And then he told me, he was like, and I asked him, like, sir, wouldn't this have like suffice in an email or like a text?
This
Right?
could have been, this
Yeah,
meeting could have been an email.
yeah, this could have been an email. And he told me, he was like, that's the thing I wanted to talk to you about. Why is it that this project that I'm getting, this amazing project, is coming from somebody who only has a B minus in my class? And then that made me think, I'm like, oh, it just shows that I am capable of making great content. I'm able of making great things. I just didn't have the drive to do it, and I didn't have the validation to do it. Granted, like you don't have to have other people validate your work, but in this kind of field, and your friends and family can tell you all the time, "Oh, you're really good," but it doesn't really sell that much when you're being told something like that from an industry professional. And I've had that happen to me multiple times. Or you have ears, or this is great. I love this. I'm just like, okay, it makes me feel like maybe I do know what I'm doing. And I think that helped me really get over that challenge of self-doubt for sure. And that's when tie it back to AKOOL, working with other people, because I know people, I'm confident in my ability to now help other people and produce other people in that regard.
I like it.
Yeah.
Self-inflicted wound. Do you have a story about something that's gone wrong in your life and you can't blame anyone because it's your own fault?
I think I think my laziness, maybe. I think that was the biggest thing. That's part of the whole like overcoming that challenge. My laziness is like a big thing for that, because before I got complacent, even when I thought I was good, I really wasn't.
There's always the next level you can get
There's
to.
always the next level. Yeah. After that, I can't really, I don't think I've had enough introspection for me to really think about it too much. But I would say it was just be me, my complacency and just my laziness, really. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. If you could give your younger self advice, what would it be now? Any age?
I have a funny one. Tell her you like her.
Is there a story behind this? Would you like to tell it or no?
I'll just say that was when I was like in high school. Yeah. No, I think another like more serious note. Like,
did you not tell her?
I never told her.
Ah,
Yeah, she is the one that got away. One of those.
Gotcha.
Yeah. On a more serious note, yeah, take your education more seriously, because like when I was a kid, I was like, man, school's lame, right? I just want to play video games all the time. Like, no. Take it more seriously. You'll be in a much better place you are than now, because the repercussions of not taking your education seriously. You have to work harder in life, right? You know, work hard now, have fun later. The whole thing.
Yeah. Don't put it off for too long.
Don't put it off for too long.
What, in the last few years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has improved your life?
No one is coming to save you but you. And I realized that in order for me to improve my own, or in order for me, I can't expect people to help me all the time. So I've just come to terms with becoming my own savior, really. If I have an issue, I have to address it on my own. I can't rely on anybody to help me with it. It's fine to have like your own support group to help you with stuff, but at the end of the day, you have to be like your own savior, really. Yeah.
I like it. Taking responsibility.
Yeah.
How do you define success?
I think it's more so defined by the connections that you make with people. If people believe in what you do is good, then I think you have a pretty successful life. Because you can be really good at what you want, at what you do, like when you're alone or like whatever. But if people don't believe in what you do, and if people don't see the value in what you do, then what you do means nothing, really. And that's, yeah.
So it's like dependent on the outside feedback, or
it's dependent on like creating connections with people in order to, how do I say this? Because before, when I would do music as like a hobby, I always did it by myself, and I was not super happy doing it because I felt like I was just doing it just to do it. When I started working with people who were just as inclined to do that thing with me, I think that's where the kind of success kind of like rolls in, because it's more of a community based or like collaborative based thing.
Oh, I see. So it feels like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's that next level of, okay, you can do something for yourself and it's fun and that's great. But when you get to that next level of you doing it in a community and you get that validation and there's more fulfillment there.
Yeah. Because you're both winning in the very end, like especially whoever you're with and wherever you're working with. Because you don't want to be selfish. You have you have all this skill and whatever. And if you can't show that to the world and you can't share it, there's no point in even doing it.
I see. So it's like a gift is meant to be shared with the world.
Yes.
I like it. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you be trying or doing right now? And subsequently, if you knew you would absolutely fail, what would you do anyway?
If I couldn't fail, I would open up my own recording studio. If I couldn't fail, and if I had all of the materials and all like the finance for it, if it was just given to me, I would totally do that.
So open a recording studio and then what? Like,
you just
be
like
a producer for artists, or
be a producer for artists, write music for people, just create a space for even newer artists or even newer bands to kind of show up and just record music if they wanted to.
Also being a part of the music industry.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And then if you knew you would absolutely fail, what would you do anyway?
If I would absolutely fail, I'd probably be a nurse.
If you knew you would fail, you would go into nursing?
Yeah, I would go into nursing.
Sorry, I'm probably gonna kill you because I'm absolutely gonna fail.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like in terms of if I knew I was gonna fail like music, I would probably go into nursing because I would be like the same. Or I don't know if I'm misunderstanding.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
So I like that answer. The spirit of the question is like, what would you do or what would you continue doing that you enjoy so much that even if you are a failure, quote unquote, you would still be doing it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, then probably just still music then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or nursing.
Or nursing.
Let's still do nursing.
Yeah, still do nursing.
What is something you've been pondering either frequently or deeply? Or both?
Am I making my parents proud? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you do all these things for yourself, right? And I think like my parents, they support me in whatever I do, right? Like my dad is my biggest supporter. But my mom supports me too, but she's like my harshest critic.
Yeah.
Right. I'm thankful for it too, because even when I'm like playing at church, right? My mom would I would play really well and my mom would be like, Anak, you should have played this differently. I'm like, no, and it's that sort of thing where am I doing well enough that my parents are proud of me? Or rather, am I not doing enough? And I always think about that too, because it goes back to that Filipino like comparison, right? It's all your family, your cousins are like off doing like amazing things, and you're just sitting on your own, like trying to make things work, trying to make it happen. But I think that's one of the things that's constantly on my mind, because I never want to disappoint my parents, probably because I'm Asian. Right? I also don't want to have them worry about me too much. And I think that's yeah.
Have you ever asked them, or do you know how they feel about you and all that?
Oh yeah. They have, my mom especially. She has been very verbal about my career choice, and it's like you can't like just go back to nursing. It always just goes back to nursing.
So they are proud of you, but
yeah, and to degrees, like they've expressed, yeah, like you did a good job and stuff like that. But I even told my dad, like, I'm actually going to go back to school. I don't know. I should have probably mentioned that in the beginning. I'm actually going back to school, and my dad was like, "Yes, thank you." Right,
that one.
I love that. Right? No,
for what?
I'm gonna go back for music industry study.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna actually be going to Cal Poly Pomona like sometime next year. That's the plan. Like I do have a degree in like audio editing and audio art, but then I wanted to expand my repertoire and just because like at this point, I think I have enough know-how that it's just a formality for me.
Right. So you have the skills to do the thing. Adding education to expand your knowledge, repertoire, etc. can only help.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite hot take or something that you think most people won't agree with?
Favorite hot take? Well, this one's for K-pop.
Yes, we like K-pop hot takes.
BTS didn't pave the way.
Ah.
SNS paved the way. Like social media paved the way for K-pop for sure. And it's because the reason why BTS became a big thing in the first place is because of social media.
That's true.
And if that didn't exist, would we even know about BTS, right?
So it was like good timing. They
good timing.
Came at the right time.
Yeah.
Because even before then with Big Bang and everyone before that.
Like EXO or like whoever.
It's not like they weren't as talented.
Exactly.
Or actually the more of a pioneer, but the social media, the timing of that, I think that's a good hot take.
Yeah.
What is one of the best or most worthwhile investments you've ever made in either time, money, energy, etc.?
I think finally buying Pro Tools for the first time. Pro Tools is like a digital audio workstation. It basically is like industry standard, like a workstation to just create and just produce music. For a while, I was sitting on this like random like audio editor that I was just using because it was free.
Yeah.
But you don't want to spend too much money. But then because of that audio editor, and I tried to hone my skills in that audio editor, once I got into the industry standard like Pro Tools thing, I was like, oh my God, is so easy now, right? It's like a lot more fine tuned and a lot more easier to use. And I think a lot of my music has gotten a lot better because of that, and a lot of my audio.
All right, last one. Favorite books, movies, videos, articles, or any media that you share or recommend the most?
One book that I would recommend would be called The Content Trap. It was actually a book that I read in college. It's by Bharat Anand, I think. It basically talks about the sort of connections that you create with like socially or like career wise or like product wise, right? And by connections, I mean like social connections, as if we're talking to each other. That's a social connection. Another connection you would have, let's say if you're an audio engineer or you're like a producer or like a songwriter, but you have another thing, you also are a videographer. I can produce your song. It's like, hey, like we're done with the song. You want to make a music video? I'm a videographer. It's like that, like creating sort of things in that way to expand your already given skill set.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll link that in the show notes. All right. That is it for rapid fire questions. We'll get into ending questions. So we always end with gratitude. Shout out to my mom. RJ, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for my parents, my family. They've always been supportive in what I do. Grateful to a lot of my friends who I talk a lot of tea and like all that stuff with, basically.
RJ likes the tea.
I love tea.
So does Blessy. Blessy loves the tea. So that's why whenever we come over, she asks for tea.
Yeah.
And then you give us tea. And then she's like, not that guy.
I was like, oh, my bad. I think I misunderstood you. No, yeah. I'm grateful to a lot of my friends who are supportive of the things I like to do, and especially even like people who like want to be part of AKOOL, right? Not like be a member, but just participate in the project. You know, that's really cool.
Contribute and everything.
Yeah, contribute and everything. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't have any. I'm very easy to please, if anything. Yeah.
Nice. I like it. All right. Do you have any final ask from the audience or any final takeaways you'd like them to have from this conversation?
I don't think so. No.
You know what? Just you take whatever you got.
Go play Kingdom Hearts.
There you go. That's a good.
Go play
that's
Kingdom
a good
Hearts.
takeaway.
Yeah.
All right, RJ, where can people find you if they want to connect, see what you're up to or whatnot?
So I am on Instagram. I think JR will have like
we'll
my
link it
on the description below.
Manalo 13.
Yes.
Nice.
And then I am also on YouTube at RJ Manalo Music. And I also have a page for AKOOL the World. So that's also another one that'll also be in the description below. And that's pretty much it.
Nice. Yeah. I'll link everything in the show notes. So if you guys are interested in what RJ's up to, he is, like I said, I've been to his place a couple times for the recording. He is a consummate professional, really fun to work with. A lot of our mutual friends work with you a lot, and he puts out a lot of good work. And as you can tell, he's very passionate about it. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, definitely hit him up. I recommend him. All right, that is it. RJ, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your insights. I learned a lot, so hopefully the audience is too. Mm-hmm. For everyone else out there, be sure to like, subscribe, follow, comments, leave RJ some love in the comments, etc. Let us know what you liked about this. And if you want us to cover any more topics, just a reminder for my final sign off. Thank you guys for being here. Reminder to always be kind to other people, especially yourself. And reminder that you can always learn something from someone if you take the time to listen. So thanks for listening.